friends, it's Monday Morning Connection. So I'm glad that you're joining me for welcoming this 5-part mini health challenge that I'm doing. Kind of doing the whole month of February, and then I'll have a Zoom at the end that kind of goes over, kind of putting it all together and helping you with your health. So every time I get started to doing a Monday Morning Connection, the one thing I do is I read a devotional to kind of get me started. I'm always amazed that it's exactly what I need to know that day or to help me with what I'm doing. And sure enough, yesterday when I read something, it was exactly what would tie right into doing this. So I'm always so grateful for God for being able to kind of work that all out. So this is from a Max Lucado book that I'm reading for a devotional. It says, healing begins when you do something. Healing begins when you reach out. Healing starts when you take a next step. God's help is near and is always available, but it is only given to those who seek it. Nothing results from apathy. God honors radical risk-taking faith. When the ark was built, lives were saved. When the soldiers marched, Jericho became rubble. When the staffs were raised, the seas still opened. When the lunch was shared, thousands were fed. When the garment was touched, whether it was by the hand of an Aramaic woman in Galilee or by the prayers of a beggar in Bangladesh, Jesus stops. He stops and he responds. So I thought that was really great. So to get started today, I wanted to start first with air, okay, our quality of air. So like I said, this is a little mini challenge that we're starting to help you know how to take care of your health. And there's little things that you can do that just will make a phenomenal difference. So talking about air, so air quality. So a lot of times we can't control the outside air, but there are certain things that you need to be aware of that are in our outside environment that can really impact you. So you think about when you're out and about, maybe you come across fresh asphalt that's been poured, okay? So that can be a toxin. You may be going into some old buildings that may have mold. You may be going into some new buildings which should just lay down some carpet and have all that glue and that kind of outgassing of all those new products. Being around cigarette smoke and whether that impacts you and just can really get into your body. Going into pool stores. A lot of times there's a lot of chemicals in pool stores and they can impact you because there's just a lot of chemicals your body's not used to. Going into garden centers or hardware stores. A lot of times they have a fertilizer section. Well, that fertilizer section permeates the entire store and that can impact you. Being around golf courses, and so sometimes they put fertilizer down the golf course. So being aware of, did they just pour that, or is that something that is kind of outgassed enough before I got there? A lot of times they put chicken manure down on golf courses, and so that can have a certain pungent smell also. And then maybe there's power plants in your hometown where their smoke or their exhaust kind of comes out, and you're able to smell that more at your location. So all those kind of things can impact your body and create symptoms that you might not be aware that that's what they're doing. So then talking about indoor air quality and things that can impact you on the inside of the house that we think is maybe good for us or helping us, and you may not realize that it's not helping. So the first one is, air fresheners and plug-ins and all those kind of like chemical smells that may smell good, but they may be impacting your body that you don't realize. Things like, Febreze, and spraying that places to try to get rid of smells. Different like air fresheners in bathrooms and things like that. Sometimes even candles. Sometimes if candles are not made from really quality products, then they're actually just chemicals that are on fire, and so they're burning that out into your atmosphere. Another one is essential oils misters. It may be good for one person in the house, but is it good for everybody in the house? So maybe you're kind of toxing your dog and your pets because they're not used to that kind of smell, and they're also a smaller mass than you are, and so they may not be able to handle it as much. Paint, new products, new carpets and things like that you've put down that have glues and things like that that are outgassing, and they may be impacting you also. So Here's my challenge, okay? Obviously with outdoor, be aware of what things you're coming across in your environment and whether it's impacting you, whether you come across it, and maybe not, go to the store that day, or if they've done asphalt in the parking lot. But if it's indoor, there are certain things that we can do to try to get those kind of things out of the air and not on our bodies. So this is my challenge. So my challenge is to pick 2 things for you to eliminate from your life that may be impacting your health. And the first one is to get rid of those plug-ins and the air fresheners that are really impacting your life and adding too many chemicals to your body. The second one is to change your laundry detergent. And we didn't really talk about that with the list I talked about, but that's one of the big ones, because you think about, you're putting on your clothes and you're wearing it all day. And so you're being impacted by that smell all day. So it's important to have both a laundry detergent and a no fabric softener that will impact though and create that smell. So how do those 2 things impact your body? Well, one is, let's say they impact the cerebellum, which is where you have the chemical makeup of the body, and they try to keep a good balance. And so if that doesn't have a good balance, then you'll have things like Parkinson's, or, your whole bodily function. I mean, like my dog, if she comes across chemicals, like if we're walking on a walk, she starts having more dreams, and her nervous system, like you have more of those dreams and makes noises and barks in her sleep. And that's my indication that, she's gotten too much chemicals from fertilizers and things like that. So I know how to clear her, but it's the cerebellum that gets impacted. It could be adding too much body inflammation to your body. And so your body's putting on inflammation, and you have, maybe hurts and things like that. It also causes weight gain. And those are all things that can really impact you. Okay, sorry. So nasal drip, and so having that issue. Another one may be that your microbiome gets impacted. So you have a gut ache when you come across those kind of chemicals. It could be impacted your vagus nerve, which is your nervous system, and it causes headaches because your vagus nerve is connected to all the different organs in your body. So that can really impact which organs and why it has issues. It impacts your liver, because your liver is your detox organ. And so you might not be able to detox very well. And so you get a lot of different issues and maybe more illnesses. I also kind of end up with some anger. Another one is lungs. Obviously, you're taking in all those inhalants, and so your lungs are impacted, and so they may have some, struggle. So I'm Jody Colegrove, and I help you get to that root cause of your health issue, so you can finally have clarity on what's going on. Get some answers on what you're supposed to do. Have energy to be able to do it. So then you can live in peace, knowing, this is what's going on. And so you can head in the right direction, getting rid of these things out of your life, so that you can get your health back on track. Because God gave you this wonderful body, and He wants you to have great health, but a lot of times we do things in our everyday lives that kind of derails that. So we're getting back to the health that you so richly deserve. So I do have a great video that helps you learn how to clean out your washer and dryer, because you do need to do that. If you've been using these chemicals, you need to clean it out so that you no longer keep adding to your clothes. So I have a great video on that. So if you're interested in that, leave me information below and I can send that to you. So the 2 things I'm challenging you to do is to get rid of those air fresheners. And the second one is laundry detergent, is to change your laundry detergent to something like borax, OxyClean, 7th generation, something that with no scent, that has no scent in it, that really doesn't add issue to your toxicity to your clothes, so that you're not wearing it every day and being impacted and your health is compromised with that. So I'd love you to join my Facebook group. I'm doing these videos in personal, but starting next week, I'm going to do it just exclusively in the group. And so I would love you to join me there and learn more about just a couple things that you can do every day to try to help your health and happiness. All right, have a blessed rest of the week.